Anyway, they were all workshop grade, and I got this to replace my other one. The other one was absolutely rubbish and cost not a lot, and this one is better. It is a little hand grinder. And there should be. So in the box I got this, this, and a little toolkit with 2 extra chucks, as they call them inside them, collets. So a couple of bits and bobs, a spanner and a couple of collets. That's what came in the box with it for £17 I think it was. And what I noticed was, when I first got it, I took it to pieces to insert the battery. I put the battery in and there wasn't a little bodgy spring here, and it didn't work. So I just bodged a spring in for now. And we get a little grinder, but it's not that powerful, and I certainly don't think it's doing 18,000 RPM like they claim it is capable of doing. So I got to thinking to myself, how can I make this better, more powerful, higher RPM? So I know these are 18650 e-cig batteries, or just 18650 batteries, Tesla batteries, whatever you want to call them, but you can get these which are 18350s. Now clearly 2 350s are going to be longer than a 650 because they're going to be 700, so they should be 5mm longer, and of course they are 5mm longer, which means they won't fit in. So I'll have to modify it, but I think for a quick test now we should be able to do it, to see if we can get some extra speed out of it or blow it up. Oh, there's some spring loading at the back there, so they might actually go in. Not too worried about jiggering this up badly, but I'd rather not. And yeah, they go in. Could do with a little ring space around it, and it should be double the speed now. Nope. So I'll have to play with that. These batteries may be flat, to be fair. Might not contact each other in that area there, whatever they're contacting. So there's some playing about to be done here. But whatever, for a test, I think these will give me double the speed and more power as well. DC motors produce more power with more voltage as well, so I'm thinking a modifications in order. Take that switch out, which the good thing about this, it's really serviceable. It's got a bonded in switch, just a normal click on click off switch, so I think I can unbond that, take that switch out, get a little flick switch, flick switch, and a variable pot, or a little twisty thing here next to it. Run 2 18350s, or even lengthen the tube a little bit here and run 3 18350s, giving me a potential for triple the speed on that motor. And then have a little variable pot here, so I can actually vary the speed at the back of it. So a small little modification on this, and I should be able to up the ante quite a bit. Now I don't want to take the motor out. Anyway, you can unscrew that and then pull the motor out. And the other thing, once you've took this section off here, I was wondering, and there is a little hole. I'll just take it out and show you. So I'll take this out here. It shows you the serviceability, but inside here there's a hole, and inside that hole, I don't think you're going to be able to see it in there. Let's see, might just glimpse the light. Anyway, inside there's a grub screw, and you can attach the whole spindle and pull it out. So this thing is really serviceable. So I'll get these two batteries working for a start, see what my power increase is, see if the stalling effort is harder, more power in other words, see if that's increased and made it better. Think about getting a piece of aluminium lengthening the battery tube, so you can take 3 of these and modifying the switch at the back here with a little flick switch and a rotary pot, a little rotary potentiometer. I might even come up with I might even put an N555 timer inside it, duty cycle the whole thing through a power transistor and use the pot that way, and that way you can have full voltage all the time but on a duty cycle, which I believe will give it more power low down as well. I thought that was just interesting how they've made such a serviceable little grinder. It's amazing how the bigger companies can't make things as serviceable as that. Why do they have to, make it so unserviceable? So continuing with the mini grinder, I have found a better spring in a mini torch, a broken mini torch. It's a relatively good fit, so I will make some kind of plastic insert with a brass contact pin, spring loaded, that will contact the front of the battery. Not sure whether I'll show that. It's just a piece of plastic, take a couple of seconds, and well, it's just going to contain that spring shortened down, that brass contact, and stay in there without falling out or being wobbly or intrusive. The rear section at the moment has a spring loaded plunger right at the bottom there, and for the time being that switch is staying in there. I want more speeds instantly before I modify the switch. With this setup, this battery works. So to get the extra speeds, I started by making this piece of plastic. Now I don't think these are any good, but this is what I got. In the picture on the eBay store they showed them that way, all of them that way, just showing the warning sticker. That should have been enough warning for me anyway. However, I have two 18350 batteries, and obviously I wanted them to be in series to pump the voltage up, so I made this little joining thing. I've pressed a brass contact into that, which is attached to that, and that protrudes just enough that it will touch the two batteries together, and the two batteries press in and hold in. We need the positive and negative, so negative goes in that side. That works a treat. It gives the grinder loads more speed and loads more power. I can't stall it easily with my fingers anymore. So that will be able to take care of the wood high-speed steel cutters that I've just ordered from, little 3mm shank ones, and it will definitely handle the diamond cutters. The only problem is the 18 350s, obviously two 350s, don't make a 650. So to make this arrangement work in there, I have to hold the whole thing together, which is not good at all. So I have a piece of aluminium tubing which once was a push bike seat post. As you can see by the insert to this depth inscription in it. To make this adapter, I want to extend the length of the tube by 8mm, so it's not crushing everything inside. It is only 7mm, but it's the 18650 is tight inside, so I'm going to give it an extra millimetre. And this will be the twin battery 18350 adapter that I'm making, and I shall probably make another adapter to make a triple 18350 and a double 18650, hopefully. Before I go ahead and do the speed controller thing, that will give me 3 speeds. Slow, no power, mid-range, lots of power, lots of speed, and then hopefully with a third battery in, even more speed and even more power. Well, you can't guarantee that until you put it in, because I'm not sure what the motor can take, but it certainly takes the 2 batteries very easily. I don't know what the batteries, the motor rating is in this thing, but it definitely doubles its speed and increases its power tremendously. Now, even if 3 batteries don't increase the speed by another third, they will increase the torque on the motor to its maximum. So the torque and power will be at its maximum with 3 batteries in, and it might overheat. So obviously at 3 batteries I'm going to be monitoring how hot the thing gets. So anyway, I wanted to obviously measure the threads before I set off, and they're not a nominal metric size and they're not a nominal imperial size, which is also helpful. It's 23.5mm thread this is going to be. That'll be 23.51 or 31/32, I think it was, or 61/64. This is the closest measurement to it. So I'm going to do it to 23.5mm threads. Before I make the decision on what lathe I'm going to use, I'll show you what I came up with drawing wise. So this is what I did. I want an 8mm spacer, and as we can see here, I need 5mm threads here and a 1.2mm land there, and I need a 2mm land here and 4.5mm of threads there. So it should be a pretty simple thing to do. There's only just enough material on this seat post to do this, so it's going to be very tight, and I hope I'll make a good job of this. Yeah, I like oil. It just goes everywhere. Literally, my lathe uses gallons of oil. Ooh, sharp. Aluminium. Any heat? Any heat? No, there's no heat. But I've got it to about full size now, and the first thing I'm going to be wanting to do is a 6.5mm blend, basically. Now my lathe has carriage stops, but I use a DTI to set the carriage stop, and I put it here on the gold wing. This is my gold wing. It's been sprayed gold. This thing here. Steel plate, which I bolt to the hand. I turn it on, I get a reading of approximately 0. I've just done the facing cut, so it should be bang on where it was. And if I unlock the carriage, we might have to move it. So we come down 6.5mm, which is approximately there. Then I put my carriage stop on. You can't see it, but I'm fiddling down here, and that is on. So now I'll come out there and come back in again. 6.64, not good. So I just adjust the carriage stop. 6.54, 6.49. I think that is close enough, but I'll take a bit more off just to 6.44 gives me a bit of a clean up. Oh, I need to bring that down to 977 thou or 24.3 or whatever it was. I trust it, so we'll see if that's nice. Does a lovely job of getting close in every time, the whole rook does. I'm just looking for a nice contact all the way across, no dragging, just So I go straight across like that. And then that will be 9.56.5 exactly. 9.56.5, that's what I wanted. Yep, 9.56.5, that's bang on the measurement that threads on the other bit. So I am ready to thread that now. Wish me luck. Right, so here's me threading gauge in, back to front, many people may say. And here is a 60-degree threading tool, and I got it in there like that, so it's into it, and as we can see, it is not square to the job. So we have to square it up, which I mean doing something like that. It must be right because I've dropped the fishtail. Usually that determines that you're in the right position. Put the lathe into reverse for a start. We're in reverse now, so that should be spinning backwards. So yep, we're spinning backwards. And little pieces of aluminium are coming out because they don't want to be in there backwards, but they're alright forwards. Let's engage the gearbox. Have some ink. Back up to speed. Okay. Tooch off. No, I want them coming back further than that. That looks better. We have touched off. And that's right close back. So I'm going to pick a number to thread on. And it will be number 2. Stop it there. And I'll make sure that's a one pitch thread, it should be. And have a look, see if that's one pitch, it should be. Can't see anything there. Let's see if I can. If I've done something wrong. Something's gone wrong. I think that's two pitch. Magnifying glass in. So I can magnify it for you. Well, I'm going to use that anyway. I think this is 2 pitch I'm looking at. I'm getting 2 ticks per line. That is not one pitch. That is too wide for one pitch. So I need to lessen the gap a little bit. I'm just going to bring it down 1 gear. Oh dear. Oh, I know, I can see what I'm doing wrong here. I'm in the wrong gear. Not just in the wrong gear slightly, I'm in the wrong gear massively. Good grief, some people. Right, this should be 1 pitch. Got 1 thread per inch. Where's my magnifier? Magnifier. Let's stick that in there. Somehow it will go in there. Line up on the shiny bits. Shiny. Because I've got other threads that are cut in there. I can't really tell, that's bang on. The first one lines up and the last one lines up, so, and there's 2 in between, so yeah. I don't know if you can see that there, because I'm struggling to see it there, like, yeah, because of the amount of glare and everything going on. that before I highlighted it perfect for me. So at the moment, the half knot is engaged, and I'm quite close to the chuck, so I'm just going to wind out. I can wind that back in my hand if I want. Makes no difference to me. I'll wind it back by hand, and I should feel it hit the stop in a minute. That's it, I can't go any further because I've hit the lock stop. So I'm going to wind back in to my 0. I'm going to estimate how much thread I'm going to cut, and I'm going to put a relief in there now. I didn't have to do all that, I could have just disengaged the half knot as it was, because I'm going to, basically right now is what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut a relief in there now at 60 degrees. So it will put a chamfer on this land here, it will put a groove in there, deep enough to put the threads in, and then I'll cut all the way down. And the way I'm determining how deep I'm going to put the threads in is like this. Let's just zoom out a bit. So that is what we're looking at, that there, and they've put a groove in here, which is clearance over the threads. So that's 23 point something or other. So that's 911, and we've got 956. So when I touch there, I can bring that down to 910, which is 46 thou. So I'm going to come in and touch off at 0 again, which I'm at there now, and I'm going to take off 46 thou for a start. 46 thou. Am I all ready? I'm all ready. 46 thou. 10, 20, 30, 46 thou, and then I'm just going to go forwards a little bit and back to the lock stop. Now I could just take that whole thread in one if I wanted to, but it's only aluminium, and I might well do that. So we'll put that as a 0. That's what I'm going to work towards. I'm going to back off. I'm going to take all but 10 thou in one cut. If I can find my WD-40. It's here. At a really high speed. There's your WD-40. I'm going to bring the speed right up. I'm just going to take that cut in one. Right, so I've just literally took the whole of that thread all in one at mega high speed, as you well saw. I'm just gonna, yeah, that's the way to do it. In aluminium, I could be like 10 thou shy, but we're going to try to. I'm just going to get the thing out of the way. I'm going to bring the speed back down again. Put the lathe back into reverse so I don't forget. Bring it up to the lock stop. I will feel it in a second. There we go, I felt the lock stop. Bring it back in. So I'm taking another 5 thou off this time. I'll take it at a lower speed now because we're right at the end. Loads of WD-40, we're in reverse, and just press go and don't forget about it. there's a bloke on YouTube called Joe Biezinski, and I saw him throwing away from the chuck and making a big hoo-ha about it, and it just seemed like the right way to do it to me, so that's how I do it. Obviously I'm not measuring threads here like he does it, but I think you'll find that is absolutely going to be the dog's doodle. That is the dog's doodle. That is it. I don't need to do any more. I'm quite surprised it's just 2 cuts, but it is aluminium, only soft little crap, using high speed steel WD-40. I'm going to now use some Scotch-Brite to take all those sharp edges off. As sharp, listen to them. I'll use a I'm just setting this boring bar up to height. Okay. Should be set up. I don't think that was half a thou. This will be. Right, I'm already set for threading now. Oh yes. So I'm just using my fish tail gauge and I can feel it square up on the part. And I'm looking down and I'm getting the same light gap either side of the 60° tool. The 60° tool. Okay, I'll just give it a bit of a hone. If I'll be able to see that. I might be able to focus in on it if I do that. Just give it a bit of a hone at the top surface right at the end there. Here we go. Just as good as an airline. When it comes to aluminium, near enough. Yeah, get in there. Oh, come on. I do love internal boring bars which are too small and they give you no chance whatsoever. Well, I'm just going to keep on cutting at that until nothing comes out. Okay, it was a bit of a clean up. I just basically there's a bit of WD-40 in there and I've just had a bit of emery in there. Just leave that there so it's going to fall off. Just going to get a rag in there and see if I can shine the threads up for you. Make them shiny shiny. Make them a bit shinier for you. So we can look a bit shinier than that. Now, when I clean them with some alcohol in a minute, they'll be even shinier than that. But the general gist of the matter is, we've got the unit now, and this took a long time. It is literally half a thou over. There's so much tool pressure on this little bar. But it's a bit stiff going in, and at the end it gets loose again, and it butts right up. It's solid. It is solid. Zoom out a bit maybe, get it in its way to take the emphasis away. So as you can see there, it is in beautifully. And there's no burr on the inside, that's beautiful, it's all cleaned up. So, I'll take that out, clean it up and I'll show you. There she is, all shiny shiny. Just cleaned it up with a bit of isopropyl alcohol. I could have chucked it a bit more favourably for its surface finish, but not to worry. So clearly that's going to screw in there. And that's going to screw in there. Well, it did screw in there a minute ago. What's happened now? I can. Yeah, we can. So I'm going to make an insert which will go inside there, I think. Yeah, you know, if you can see the land down the bottom there. Try and explained it to you maybe. I'll try. So okay, inside here you've got, see the little tabs both either side. They're on a land, and then above them there's another land around there. Can you see it? I believe that's what the motor's earthing out on. Just have a quick look and see if it is. I believe it is. Yep. So I've got that little space there. I can make a little pluggy spacer, a hole in it that this spring will go through, and a little brass thing to go over the top of that spring so it all stays in line. So I've got to do that now. So this is a sort of conclusion to this project. Now unfortunately the tool didn't come with any carbide or high-speed steel burrs. I've got a little drum sander with one sanding disc, white and two pink stones, and a carbide burr, sorry, a diamond burr. I bought a set of diamond burrs basically because I've got loads of different diameters now, a couple of conical shapes and a little ball shape, which would be handy for putting contours into carbide for making carbide form tools. So I don't want to wreck them, and if I use them on a piece of steel then I will wreck them. And I certainly don't want to start grinding some carbide all over my lathe. And since my workshop is a complete mess, there's no filming opportunities in there easily. This is the place I do filming at the present. But I do have the old engraver. The reason I got this engraver was literally for, I don't know if we're going to see it on the chuck here. So right here, if you look just here where my finger is, there's two little ticks. You might be able to see them, you might not be able to. You might be able to see them better now. Literally just here. And then somewhere else. Yep, I don't know if you'll be able to see it here. We get up here. You probably might be able to see it just here. A little arrow, and it's just a little mark, and it tells me where to line it up when I'm fitting the chuck. And that's what I got this for, engraving. It's a little engraver, and this came with some carbide burrs. I'm sure it did. Yep, either high-speed steel or carbide. Very good, very good. Now I need to find an Allen key to extract it and see if this has got a pin chuck to hold the carbide burr. Then I can do more than just disc sand this. So I'll go with the disc sander for a start. The drum sander. And we've got a burr on the end here. Yep. So I'm just gonna I haven't got any goggles on, I'm getting pieces of metal flick around. Let me get some goggles on. Stupid not having goggles on, that could have been eye impact. Unbelievable. Always put your goggles on. Let's see if we can deburr this. Yeah, there's no bogging down on that. And that burr's completely gone. I mean, it's nothing tight, there's a really sharp edge here somewhere, hold on. Where was it? Ah, there it is there. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, this is going to be absolutely wonderful for deburring. Sweet. Oh yeah. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. Great. So that was rather a dangerous piece of metal. A very, very dangerous piece of metal. A very sharp burr in it there, and if you went to pick it up, you always have to be careful. And if I can do that to every single piece of metal that I put away, that you ain't going to cut yourself on that now. What about engraving? Let me see if I can get an engraving bit installed into it. This is a carbide engraving bit, and then there's a brand new one that came with the old one in there, and this did not have enough power, this little old engraver. I've taken it to pieces completely and just held it together with sellotape to hold little bits inside it, but you can imagine what that looked like. That was inside the end of it, like that, and as soon as you touched, this thing bogged down and stopped. It was pretty useless, so you kept on dabbing to keep the speed up on it. And I was going to do a extra battery thing on this one, but I took it to pieces, figured out how useless it is inside. Let me give you an idea. This is the front bearing on this one. So that front bearing has got a place inside the front of that nose there. Okay, that's the bearing. Let's put the bearing inside the shaft, and then I don't know if we can, I think you can see how much play there is in that bearing. It's not really a bearing, is it? It's just like a guide. So there's no real position on this one. So I thought it's not worth doing anything to it, really not worth doing anything, souping it up. I found the motor inside, and and I found a way that I can repair it and make it all better and everything, but I just don't think it's worth it. It's just not worth it. Whereas this one is. It's got a proper ball bearing in the end there by the looks of it. I haven't checked it out properly yet, but there's no play in the spindle. It's solid. It's got a nice little motor in there. You've seen the nice little motor in there. It's even got a spindle lock. So it locks in a spanner so for getting the chucks out. So anyway, let's was the carbide burr out of this, and I'll get it installed if possible. Oh, I'm having some problems. Got 3 chucks with it. I've got this one here. It's a bit on the tight side. Well, I probably think that probably is the one for it. I've got this one here, and that's just slack. I think that's the 3.125. I've got this one here, and that's just slack. That's the 3. I think this is a 2.15. So that might be 2.5 or 2.2. We'll try it. We'll see. Zero it out. No, it's 2.3. I believe that's a 2.15 chuck. But not to worry. It will hold it for today's demonstrations. I think I'm going to have to make a new chuck for this. That should be good fun. I'm not sure if that's going to be straight in there or not. This is not going to be held very safely at all. So fingers crossed it's not off centre. Yeah, that's not going to be great. I'm not sure if I can run that up safely. It's a bit all over the shop. I'm just pressing the button at the end here just to release the pressure off the spring. There's a bit of vibration, but I think I can handle it. It's not ideal, is what I can say. Let's see if we can do some engraving. We've got something a bit harder. Stainless steel, brass, aluminium. Ooh, there's a spring collet. This is a broken R8 spring collet. If I write broken on it, I might remember that it's broken. The threads in the end are completely had it. So we can hold on this and see if this bogs down. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's not bogging down at all. So we get in there. There we go. Does that without bogging down. Very happy. Very happy with that little handy tool. Completely battery powered. Completely portable. Need to make some pinchucks for it, so the saga of this has not finished yet. I've been able to use a carbide bear on it and some hardened steel. Yeah, very exciting little tool. It's a lot of work to get it into a usable condition, and you might be saying, what did you do inside it then? What did you do? So this is what I did inside it. Let's get this bear out. Is it going to come out? Yeah, it came out. So I tidied the threads up eventually. As you can see, that thread which wasn't working at all has come out now. So the first thing I did was get the batteries working. Made that little out of Delrin little plastic thing. It's got a brass insert inside it, and the brass insert protrudes both sides of the Delrin, which allows the batteries to touch each other, which they can't do without this, hence I had to make this. Little trick I had to do when I was making this, I had to put the batteries in and then do the turning to put a taper on it, because when you press the batteries in like that, the outsides flare and everything's tight. So I made the battery holder to hold two batteries together to increase the power, so this doesn't bog down, because this was bogging down. And I made this, which is very difficult to get out, but you just saw me making this little adapter. This was the looser thread of the two, the one that's already in there, but I don't mind that staying in there. So I made that adapter, and then finally, you didn't see me making this bit because, well, I just wanted to get through it, didn't take long, and got the spring on the end still, and then I've got Delrin. It's got around about 130 thou gap to the brass inside there. It's got a 70 thou brass insert pressed into the plastic, and the plastic's pressed into the aluminium housing to hold it all in place. The spring there's to contact the back of the brass, so just bring it up, make sure the spring's touching the back of the brass, start her in the hole, tighten her up. What that's doing is it is allowing that brass to protrude, because these battery terminals are recessed, so now that battery can touch that piece of brass. They're the three modifications I've had to make to get these double batteries working. Why aren't they going in now? Oh, there's always something, isn't they? Alright, so inside there the unit came with a spring loaded switch already, so that's what's holding the pressure onto the brass this side, and now that's nice and easy to assemble. And I've got a working grinder of double the power and probably double the speed of what it originally was. Simple as. Enough said. Job's a good one. that little amount of work there, and you can have yourself it feels really good, a really good grinder for less than 20 quid.